Hey, what's going on, guys? Fix the audio here, make it a little louder. Should be better now. No, I'm not getting fancy. I just thought about, I was like, oh, maybe I can put a little music on there and make it a little better. I'm jamming. Yeah, let me fix that. There we go. No, just hanging out. Someone said 2 live streams. Is Steve still doing his live stream? Oh, crap. I didn't think about that. It started at like 2:30. I was on there for a little while. I was out cleaning the garage listening to it. Stuff with the TiePi scope. So how's everybody doing today? How's Miguel, Carlos, David, Jeremiah, Andrea, Steve, Brian? Everybody, look at that. Got some Pico in the house. There we go. Like semi on time this week too. So I had to move the office desk around. I had the monitor up on the wall, and the other day I noticed it was starting to like come out of the wall because I have it like pulled way out, so it's so much weight out. And every once in a while I keep grabbing it to move it. I think I was pulling on it too hard, starting to pull some of the drywall out. So it's pretty crazy. But how's everybody doing? We got some good stuff lined up this week. Let's see. Raise the roof. Yeah, so we hit a big milestone on the channel. 500,000 views. That's 500,000 views, which is amazing. My channel's kind of unique in that way that I have a lot of views for the small amount of subscribers I have, which is crazy. Enjoying some wine. Yeah. Oh, I got Guinness in the fridge. I didn't even think to grab a glass. I was getting everything ready. I got a bunch of hard drives I got to ship out, so I was getting them all put together. So those of you that ordered hard drives, they'll be shipping out tomorrow, first thing. So those are all, I got my next batch of them in, so those are all going good. But like I said, so thank you everybody. We hit a mass 500,000 views, guys. It was amazing. I can't believe we hit that many. Not even beer time, yeah. So it was, that was awesome. Steve, talked to Steve Scott from Simply Diagnostics. So I guess he's got his live stream going on right now, so that's kind of, I'm sad that I'm missing that. Oh, hey, we got Eric in the house. What's going on? What are the hard drives for? Oh, Eric, to alleviate some of the time that it takes people to set them up, they're just, I sell both hard drive and solid state, so hard disk drive and solid state. They're 500 gigs. They're partitioned out with 4 drives. They're all Windows 7 Pro installs. Fully updated, all the power settings are set up. They've got Pico software on them, and then they've also got mine. Each one has my Waveform library on it, which this new batch of them has the most up-to-date version of the Waveform library, which means the rest of you guys that purchase them, I'll be sending you a link pretty soon for a Google Drive link that's got the more up-to-date Waveform library on it, and it's got about 3 times as many waveforms as the other library I sent you. What I've been doing is taking it and organizing it. Hard drive for CF30. They'll work for anything as long as the vehicle, as long as the laptop or the computer you're putting it in. I mean, they're SATA 2.5. I don't have one open right now. They're they're SATA 2.5 drives, so they'll go in just about any laptop. So they are a Windows 7 Pro install, so really anything that would accept a Windows 7 Pro operating system, the hard drives will go in. Because once you put it in a new computer, you're going to have to restart each partition a couple times, but it'll automatically install all the drivers for all the hardware it's in. So they're being put together on a CF19 Mark V. They've got most of the driver packs for the Panasonic stuff on there. So if you put them in one of your other Panasonics and you're noticing one of the drivers isn't working, you can download the driver pack for your Panasonic online. Do I have a place for us to share waveforms? Not yet, Eric. I am currently building a website that is for... ooh, looks like my camera got kind of all jittery there. I'm currently building a website to house all of my stuff. So I think even the Patreon guys, I don't know yet if I'm going to migrate Patreon away from Patreon to my own website, because it's going to cost me quite a bit to do that. But a website is at least in store for like a blog or a forum along with a waveform library, where I'll have my waveform library and then I'll have a library that everyone can add stuff to. Because I'd really like to put it on there, because I looked at it when I got this last batch of the stuff input into the more organized waveform library. It was, I'm pulling it up right now, properties. It is 7.59 gigs of nothing but Pico files. So I haven't added any of the snap-on files I haven't added any of the just images that I have also. Because back before I had my Pico, I had a Hantek, I had some Vitronics, I had a couple other scopes. I've had an Autel scope, so there's a few Autel captures I have saved. So a lot of them are pictures, and those are, I mean, I've got to organize those too, because some of them are named, like I'm looking at one right now, and it's just named 5.3 AFM PT idle bad exhaust valve. So I've got some known bads in there too, which is just kind of evidence stuff that I've pulled up. And this one is off of a Hantek scope, a 1008C 8-channel. So wish we could share them on Diag.net. You can, Eric. He has made a resources location on Diag.net, so you can share Pico files now. Facebook waveform group. There is a Facebook waveform group. Yep. Pico's a nice place to share. Yep. I saved mine on Pico too. I don't do a whole lot of them. It takes a lot of time. Do I talk price here or do I email you? Oh yeah. The hard drives, a regular hard drive disk, a spinning disk, the older style hard drives are $150, shipped anywhere in the lower 48, and then the solid state ones, which right now I've got a batch of Samsung V-Band. They're the 860 Evos. They're like a 6 gig a second transfer rate. They come with a pretty good warranty. I try not to use like an off-brand. I don't ever use off-brand. Like if you get a hard disk drive from me, it'll probably be a Hitachi or a Toshiba hard disk, and then the solid states are $250. And I have some Western Digitals too that are going to go out, because I got a bunch of them to send out, and they ran out of stock of the Samsungs where I normally buy them. So let's see. So yeah, Brian, I don't mind sharing price. $150 for a regular hard disk drive, $250 for a solid state. They're identical. Like what's on them is identical, but solid states will be much faster. Yeah, Pico does make it a pain in the butt, Eric. I don't like having to sign in, and then I do try to put all the descriptive stuff in there, the year, make, model, engine, cylinders, all that stuff. That way I can search that way. But I didn't know that. I'm a member of Die.net. Yeah, I told Scott the other day, I worked with Scott. I got all the stuff worked out, so whoever signs up for, I have Jeremiah signed up. I think he's in here. He signed up for my top tier on Patreon that comes with like 4 tech support credits a week. You get access to all the training that I do every week online, which like right after this video, jumping over to Patreon. And since it's the first week of the month, I'm not doing the JBox class. We're doing some diagnosis methods. I think we're going to talk about open-closed loop fuel control. We're going to talk about some ways to narrow down your drivability concerns quickly. Like find out what's wrong, or have a really good idea what's wrong within the first 5 to 10 minutes from the driver's seat without doing a whole lot of work. We want to spend as least amount of time as possible. So, but anyways, I talked to Scott. So the top tier, we got 4 tech support credits a week. You get access to all the videos. Every week we do live training like this, but I spend about an hour on that side doing just training stuff. And then you get a subscription to Diag.net. So I got that hooked up with Scott to where the top tier guys will get will get that as well with their subscription with me. I pay for your subscription for Diag.net. So the Waveform library on Facebook should be called the Cam Crank library. Hey, to be honest, that's almost all I really ever need a waveform for anyways, is for Cam Crank correlation. Can't get anywhere with Pico's library. I run into the same thing. I hardly ever can find what I need. That's like, so the new, I don't have a version, I don't have the old copy of the library because I've just been updating it on my computer that I'm on now. But I want to say, how many are there in here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a bunch. So there's 56 vehicle tabs within the GM file alone. And the vehicle tabs, when you open one up, for instance, like my one for the Trailblazer, for this one Trailblazer engine has 6 waveforms in it. A lot of them only have one waveform. I mean, it's really just like most of mine are Cam Crank correlation because that's what's important to me. But like some of the GM stuff, I've got like secondary ignition, primary ignition, Cam Crank, some of the control solenoid stuff. Hey Jason, thank you very much. How many lectures do I have on Patreon site for the $100 top tier? So, 2 things within that question. He says, how many videos do I have on the Patreon website for the $100 top tier? To address that, I needed to look at something. I was going to see if I could count them real quick. First of all, the top tier is now only $80 a month. Nobody bought it because nobody felt like there was enough value in there, so I agreed. So I added a Diag.net subscription, and then oh, and you get like a cool swag pack when you first sign up too, which has got a t-shirt. But anyways, I lowered it down to 80 and then added the Diag.net subscription. So but how many videos are in it? This is what's weird. Okay, so you get access to the whole month. So let's say you pay now, January the 6th. You'll get access to any videos I did already in January, and then all of January. So like last month, some guys signed up on the 31st of December, and Patreon charges them then, and then they charged them on the 1st of January. So I felt kind of bad, but the way it comes out is if you paid for the 31st of December, you get access to all of December's content. So all the stuff that I already did, you get to go back and rewatch. And then January on, since they paid for January. So 7 classes, Drews. Oh, I'm getting behind. Sorry, let me catch up. Know that. Waveform library on Facebook called Cam Crank. Pico library, you have to have some verification and use a Pico automotive scope. Right. Hey guys, what's up? Keep reviews. Oh yeah, that's. So yes, Drew's 7 videos, 7 classes. Awesome. Where did you get these files? Justin, I think I have a couple from you. I think you sent me. What did you send me? Everybody say hi to JM Diagnostics, by the way. He's hanging out in here. I want to say, Justin, you sent me a bunch of Ford stuff. I think you sent me like, what was that? Was that 17 2.7 you were doing some work on? And you like, what year was that? Was it 17 2.7? Yeah, you got like 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9. Took like 9 captures, Justin. Jeez. That's awesome. I think that's in there. I don't know if that one's in the waveform library or not. I tried not to put anyone else's waveforms into there. But the waveform library is not like something you have to pay for, guys. I'm going to try to post that up to where everyone will have access to it. Just right now, I don't have a way to post them in a place where everyone can access them and be organized like a Windows folder. It's like I got to put them all on the Facebook thing. So working on Pico on the screen lockup. I don't know if they have sent an update out yet, but I fixed the problems. sweet. I haven't had a problem with screen lockup. You know what I did have a problem with, though, with my Pico? The last, not the current version that's out now, but the last version that was out, on my desktop that I had in the shop, that was on my cart, which is actually, I guess, the desktop I'm working on now. It's actually a different hard drive, but that version, every time I would try to print, it would crash the software. So that was crazy. And it was only on that one computer, so it was some kind of hardware conflict thing, hardware-software conflict. It wasn't like I don't think it was anything actually wrong with the Pico software. It was just the Pico software wasn't jiving with something else I had on that desktop. So, but yeah, everyone say thanks to Justin, because you sent me. Justin, do you remember how many you sent me? Can't afford a Pico yet. Doesn't matter if you can afford it or not. At least you can still have access to all the waveforms. We're trying to post all of them up on the. We're trying to do it on the Facebook page is what I was trying to do, but man, it just takes forever. It takes so much time. So I was organizing them there, and I figured, all right, anyone that's buying a hard drive gets that right off the bat because it's easy for me to just drag and drop files onto that. But I am looking at building the website so I can structure it in a way where I can put all the waveforms on there, and then have a forum, and then have like the members area that's got the training videos and stuff for Patreon. So I thought that'd be kind of cool. Let me know what you guys think about that. That may not be something you're even interested in. I'm trying. The thing is when you start adding all these platforms, like we're already all on Facebook, right? And then Diag.net, and then IATN. And then within the Facebook, there's all the groups, right? And there's like all these hundreds. I'm in like, oh, so many groups. I had a thing that came up today that was like, yeah, I'm the same way. Like anyone's like, oh, I need a waveform, blah, blah. I try to see if I can find one and send it to them. So I have no clue how many you sent. I thought maybe you would remember, but I don't know. I don't know. Most of the waveforms are ones that I've just taken off of cars. So that's kind of what I think the majority of them are. But if you guys have waveforms, like a large library of them or something, how I'm organizing them is I kind of organized them. The way that I organize them, I think, is a lot like how Justin organizes them. And I do like a GM folder, and then within the GM folder, I make a folder for like a 2004 Escape 3.0. And then I put all my 2004 Escape 3.0 files in that. And sometimes I combine, like if there's a Mazda Tribute with a 3-liter, if I know they're exactly the same, I'll put them in there. If I'm not sure, then I won't. Like an F-150 and an E-150. The engine files will be the same, but what if I did one for like a blower motor current or radiator fan control duty cycle or something? You know, I mean, there's like a lot of variations, so I try not to. I played with Erico's waveforms before I even owned a Pico, which helped me when I did get one. Oh, that's awesome. So everyone thanks to Erico. I didn't really play with any Pico files before I had a Pico, I don't think, but I was, man, I think before I ever had access to a Pico, I didn't really know a whole lot about scopes. But when I was really into scopes, I knew, you know, I knew about a Pico. I just hadn't played with the waveforms a whole lot. I knew I wanted to get one. So when I get one from someone else, I put the information on the details tab where I got it if I know the person that shared it and put their name in the details window. Oh. Ooh, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have thought of that ahead of time so I could have given credit where credit was due. But I can start doing that now. Which means if you gave me a couple that's got somebody else, there are some that's labeled that way. So, but anyways, I had some other stuff going on. What was the other stuff I had going on? I said Tool Sunday. I forgot to even go grab some of the stuff. But I've been using... I don't have it in here. I have been using the VVDI X-Horse. Justin had mentioned that he used it for a couple things, and then I talked to some other guys I know that have them, and so I had got one. I got a really good deal on one through a distributor, and I've been using it. I have not got a chance to make one of the universal remotes that come with it yet, but I've used it to do some transponder work and stuff. I've been using it to... I've pretty much replaced my Z Mini with this VVDI to read chips to see if they're any good. So, like I said, I was going to be giving away that Z Mini that I've got that works to one of the Patreon guys. So I was going to make a little contest over there. I got to figure out how I'm going to set that up within Patreon. So that's been good. And then the JBox class is going good. We're past all the hardware, and we're past all the tooling and what you would need and other stuff that I would recommend outside of just the JBox flashing stuff. So now we're working on, I think the next section is how do you know it needs a flash. So we're going over that, how to check if a calibration needs to be updated, where to find that information, preferably free if it's possible. Go through all the steps on how to find that without paying for the subscription, just to find out you don't need a software update. And times that you do want to flash, times that you don't want to flash. We're going to talk about the manufacturers and the types of vehicles that I recommend just updating if there is one update, or some that I recommend don't update unless you're instructed to do so, and why. So we're going to go over all that kind of stuff. So that's a whole section on its own. Is there a difference between American and Chinese? I don't know. I know that the boxes are different on the outside because they actually have like a different name and label and stuff on them. I know, you know what? I do know the software is different for sure, because when I first got mine, I needed to update the firmware because it was missing like a couple of the functions that I knew it was supposed to have because I had seen it go. Like mine wouldn't even wirelessly connect to my phone. So I had to plug the cable into my computer, go to the Xhorse website, download the updater, and then there was like 6 or 7 different updates, and it only went up to like the 4th most recent update for my US version, because they have other versions of software for other markets. So yes, they are different, Chinese and American. So I would be hesitant to buy a Chinese, just thinking that maybe it wouldn't even have the US model vehicle software in it. Because I know the software is different, because it wouldn't let me upgrade to a certain level because it was only available to other markets, and then it showed different market software and firmware for the tool. So yes, there is difference in the tools. There's got to be. I don't know about physically if there's any difference, but I mean, I wouldn't want to buy a Chinese version on accident and end up with a whole bunch of vehicle options in there that I couldn't even use because we don't see them. And I wish I would have brought mine in. So I totally forgot about that. Let's see, what else do I have? So I kind of wanted to go over more of the VVDI stuff. I thought it was pretty neat. So the VVDI, hey Joe. The VVDI tool, I've used it. Justin was telling me he uses it just to read chips and stuff a whole lot. So that was kind of my main thing. I wanted to use it for that. And then reading transponders, cloning transponders. I don't do a lot of cloning, but the Euro stuff, you kind of got to. When it comes to keys. Like, I don't do any cloning on Fords at all, because I just don't want to put someone in that position where they've got a clone key and then, you know, module replacement down the road. We have that problem anyways. But I try not to do a lot of cloning. I say that, but, you know, sometimes it's worth it. And then, guys talking about the Xhorse, I'm looking at it as well. Yeah, I mean, for the price, and it comes with 5 remotes, and they're Volkswagen style remotes. So if you sell 5 Volkswagen keys, when you look at it from the business standpoint, you'll make enough profit to pay for the tool. So why not? It just seems, I don't know, just something that makes sense that I would get it. The Z Full is pretty good. The Z Bull Mini is, I feel like, kind of useless, with the exception, like the only thing I use it for when I did my video, when I went over and did the entire tour of my truck, the only thing I find it to be really good for is just seeing if the transponder is good and if the 2 keys you have are clones of each other or not. I mean, because other than that, it's about useless. See, Zed was junk out of the box for me, never worked. Yeah, when me and Justin were talking, he was saying that he got a Mini and right out of the box it never worked. Couldn't ever get it to read a transponder, and I've heard that a couple times. So, like, I had bought mine on Amazon because I had heard that a couple times, thinking, all right, if it goes If I have a problem, the one I got on Amazon, I mean, it's only like 55 bucks or something, which is a little more expensive than what they are on eBay. But the return process for Amazon is way better. So I did put a link to one in my Amazon store, and that's the other thing. If you guys, and all of this helps, I'm 100% on. I want to be honest and open with you guys. Anytime you click a link for Amazon or something, I get a kickback on that. But I'm recommending you only products that I've used or use currently, because all the stuff on there. And then there's an Easter egg. We were on a sorry, this made me laugh because I just not thought of it. We were on a video chat the other night, just kind of talking. What's the new one called for transponders? VVDI 2 or VVDI Prague has EEPROM stuff. I don't remember what it was for, because the one that the VVDI just Key Tool does transponder stuff. But anyways, we were on a video chat just like 2 days ago, and someone told me to look for. I was showing them how to make an Amazon store, and he was like, "You should put this on there," and it's totally a joke, inappropriate. So there's one on there. So if you want to check out my Amazon store, there's a little Easter egg there at the bottom of all the tools. So, and there should be a link to the Amazon store on the description for this video, but it was entertaining nonetheless. So yeah, I've been using that quite a bit. I like it. I like the tool. The battery charge is pretty decent for me. If it gets a full charge, I get to use it for most of a day. It's like the battery for my laptop. I bought an extended battery for my laptop. I get a full day out of it, so I'm digging that. Let's see, we talk about the hard drives. We got those going. I got a better microphone coming for my. I got a friend of mine sending me a microphone for the GoPro, so I can start using the GoPro more. And I got a little tripod to carry around. I found it at a garage sale, so I have the Zed Bull Mini. Oh no. No, I like it a lot for transponder stuff. It's super fast. I don't know. I think it'll clone some too. I've just never tried. I just don't have any clone stuff. I don't really do any of them. What I mainly bought the X-Horse for was mid to late 2010s up to 2010, a little early, like 2011, 12. Also, Chryslers, you do like a wind module replacement with the. I think I got one laying around here. Let's see. With this style key, with that style key, when you do wind modules on those. Most of the time, after you put in the pin code and you just do erase all keys, it'll let you relearn them. But there's even information at TSB from Chrysler saying that reusing the old keys, sometimes they just don't work. And I've had about an 80% failure rate of reusing the OE keys. So the Zed Bull with the cable that comes, or the Zed Bull, not the Zed Bull, the VVDI with the cable that comes with it, has the option of renewing the remotes. So it clears out the secret key information from the wind module, from the old wind module. So what I did was, let me see if I got the cable laying around here somewhere. Yeah, I took the cable, I extended the wires, and then I soldered needles onto the end. So it's just the cable that goes on the back of it. And then I have a little plexiglass tray with holes in it that kind of hovers. And you can put these on it to touch circuit boards. Well, I do that because here's one I just got done doing from the last one. This is a circuit board out of one of those keys. So before I had just kept those keys on hand, and they cost like 50 bucks to get the OE ones. So what I did was I used the X-Horse tool to renew the keys now. So I can take their old keys and renew them like it just clears the secret key data out. All you got to do is touch to the ground, the power, and then there's 2 tabs on the board that you have to touch. And then through the tool, you can renew and clear the key. It just does some programming work to the key and clears it out. So that saves me and the customer a ton of money. So around how much they used Toughbook. So I find Toughbooks online, usually between eBay or Amazon, for around, I've gotten them as cheap as like $90 shipped before. But usually if you're going to get one with the recommended specs, and my recommendation is an i5 or better processor, and at least 8 gigs of RAM. Now you can upgrade the RAM pretty easy. So my recommendation of an i5 with 8 gigs of RAM, and then I always buy them with no battery, no charger, no hard drive, if you can get one with the hard drive caddy, because the caddies are like $50, you can get a good aftermarket charger that works well for, I don't know, $10, $12. You can get batteries, either used or Chinese new, for $10, $15 that are pretty decent quality. So if you buy one stripped down that's just missing the battery, missing the charger, missing the hard drive and caddy, you usually can find an i5 with 8 gigs for, I don't know, $140, $160 or $70 sometimes. Just depends. If you keep it on eBay and got some time to spend to wait, that's how it usually works. So that's how I buy them. I buy them that way. And I use 2 identical CF19s. A CF52 is a little more expensive. CF30s are more expensive. All of them are good computers. CF19, CF30, 31... those are going to be significantly more robust than like a CF52, because the CF19, 30, and 31 are a full rugged computer. CF52, 53s are semi-rugged, but still awesome. And I know tons of people that use just like a standard Dell laptop, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. My fear is that it just takes one drop to tear one of those up. So the Toughbooks are pretty robust, so I like to use those just because I'm working pretty fast usually. I tend to drop things or something, when I'm working fast, not slowing down. So for the sake of how fast and clumsy I can be, I tend to try to get something that's a little more robust. So I stick with a full rugged. And I used 30s first, 30 and 31s first, when they were kind of big to be like I'm a fat guy. I'm a big guy, all right? You set a 30 in my lap and open it up against the steering wheel, and there just isn't any room. So a 19 was good. Small form factor. I mean, this is one of my 19s. I do have a used 18 out in the shop that's got like a Core 2 Duo or a Pentium 4 or something. I wouldn't recommend an 18 because I don't think the processors, I don't think they put any good processors in them. And if you get one with like a Core 2 Duo, that works fine too. The thing is, once you start going to the older processors and stuff, if you try to use this thing to get on the internet also, and you start adding other software to it, it's really going to slow down. So I would just recommend using it just for programming, not playing around on. I don't even use Pico on mine anymore, really. I have tried it once. Are the newer ones a bit fast for programming, or can they be slowed down? Newer computer? If you're asking about the computer, faster is always better. Just big bone. Thanks, Jason. I did recognize the key. Okay. Stephen Hayes, to address that, I think you may be confusing the PC with the JBox. You want to be careful with when we talk about JBox, I mean like in speed, we're mainly talking about GM Class 2 vehicles. And I wrote a pretty good sized article on this, and it was posted on the Train by Text website, and it's posted on Diag.net. And the thing with Class 2 data networks, they operate on a single wire, like a J1850 protocol, the communication protocol. And when you use like a newer, like a DrewTech box, there's some known issues with how fast they operate, causing network collisions during programming events and failing the programming. So you never want the computer, you always want it as fast as possible. It's the JBox that you're trying to slow down during programming of Class 2 GM vehicles. And my tips for that I'll give you, and this is in our class, but I'll give you my quick tips. If you're using the DrewTech box, turn on the debugging mode within the toolbox and leave it on. Take out the network comb and jumper the PCM or the BCM and whatever module you need to program. So if you need to program one of those two, just jumper the DLC directly to that. And I'm going to go over all the specifics of that in the class. If you do the debugging mode on a DrewTech and jumper to where you take everything else off the network, mainly the ABS module, that's what causes the most issues. Those two things, I've never had a failed JBox programming on a Class 2. I have been called in to save one after it has failed. When someone just plugs in the DLC, doesn't do anything with the comb, no debugging, like 80% of the time they have some kind of programming failure, and sometimes it tears up the module and it blanks it out. So the recommended procedure, if you want to cut out all possibilities of problems, is doing Tech 2 remote. And that's where you, through SPS, flash the software into the Tech 2 and then use the Tech 2 to flash the module in the vehicle. But even then, I still pull the comb and jumper to where I take everything else off the network. I'd be as cautious as possible on Class 2 data networks because they were really kind of janky. That network was designed before module programming was a normal thing on cars. X-Horse not available on Amazon right now. Ooh, I bet when I looked on X-Horse's official website, they were sold out of most of the remotes. So I bet they sold a ton of those things and everyone's just out of stock. Joe's Electric, you have any experience with the Autel J-Box? Yeah, I used it for quite a while. I've used it in a shop environment, used it in a mobile environment, and then when my Bosch box died, I locally borrowed the new, smaller form factor Autel J-Box, used it for like 4 or 5 days, and then my buddy Mike Robinson, he sent, and Robinson's Auto Diagnostic is his YouTube channel. He's a Trained by Text member also. He sent me his older, larger form factor Autel J-Box, and I used it for like a month until I got my Cardac 3, and I sent it back. So I used both the new and old Autel, and I've probably done over probably 2 dozen flashes on the Autel older one, and on the newer form factor one, I probably did close to a dozen flashes. A couple different makes and models. I did a Nissan, I did all kinds of stuff. So doing those, yes, I used the Autel J-Box for a bunch. The issues I ran into were on the older, larger form factor on a 2006 or 7 Jeep Wrangler. So it was the legacy application J-Box. It kept giving me some funky error. I went straight and borrowed a friend's Ease Diagnostics J-Box. It's actually just a rebranded Cardac 2, and it went right through, no problems. Same laptop, same hard drive, same everything. I just installed the drivers and did it, and it went right through, no problem. I downloaded the file correctly. I've been through that a ton of times. So, X-Horse VVDI at International Keys or UHS Hardware. Right, and I got mine through, I bought mine on TransponderIsland.com. I had a distributor that I'd called them and talked to them and went over some of the stuff they did and some of the stuff they offer for it, and they offered a bunch of the blank, the actual blade inserts for the universal flip outs they come with. So I was able to get some Volkswagen Audi blades. I got some GM blades, Ford blades, Toyota, Honda blades to put in them, so I could use those universal remotes to a bunch of different stuff. Let's see. I'm late. What are we talking about? All kinds of stuff, Bruce. Thanks for joining in, Bruce. So recommend to a friend. Let's see. How I flash control models when I worked at GM dealers remote and passed through with 2. Yeah. Tech 2 remote with the Tech 2 is the most stable way to flash GM Class 2 stuff, older Class 2 stuff. Have the Elite and so far only done 2 forwards with it. Want to learn other programming. Well, join in the Patreon channel, Joe. Got a whole training class we're going through. The box is originally from Pleasanton. Oh, really? Okay, so everyone thanks to Michael Pleasanton for letting... I don't know how it ended up getting to Mike, but it got to Mike, and then Mike let me borrow it. He just shipped it to me, and I shipped it back. Matter of fact, I need to pay him back for shipping for that. That was awesome of him. Can't use Autel on Tech to win. Man, Neil, I know you said that, but I think I made it work once. I'm going to have to figure it out. I'm going to have to borrow my buddy's Autel and see if I can make it work again and see what I did. Manuel Jimenez says hello to all. Hey, guys. Good night to all. Okay. Have any Trained by Text help on IATN? Do you or any of the Trained by Text help on IATN? We have nothing against IATN, but it's so noisy. It's kind of like Facebook. It's hard to decipher all the poop throwing and measuring contest that's going on. So I have pretty much stopped going on IATN myself. I don't know if other guys are on there too. Hey, Bill. What about pulling pin codes? That's a whole deal in its own, pulling pin codes. We just covered transponder pins in the J-Box class. Start building tools. You have the smarts because you know what breaks. I don't know about the smarts, but I've ran into a lot of broken cars in my time. become mobile, what would you recommend as far as equipment to start out? Drews, I started putting all the equipment that I use on my Amazon thing, and again, I get a kickback from that, so you don't have to use my Amazon links. You're welcome to find them from any distributor you want. Please seek out the best price you can get on or whatever, but a lot of the stuff that I use is on my Amazon page. And I buy a lot from Amazon because it's really convenient. But if I can recommend a distributor from you, AESWave.com. So see what's on Amazon that I'm using. I'm adding tools to it all the time, and then buy it from AES. I would recommend buying from AES just for the tech support and supporting their business the best you can. Robert gave it to Mike. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Justin. I didn't know if it went to other people first and Mike ended up with it. Anyone here get the Realtek 2? To anyone here to get the Realtek 2? Bert, if you're recommending we get a Realtek 2, I agree. Genuine hardware is always better than some kind of clone. And they last much longer. Hey, Marty. I have not used the Android Chrysler pin pulling app yet. I saw that it's on the Android, it's on Google Play Store. You can download it and use any ELM 327 device to pull. I thought that was pretty neat, and it's a pay-per-use. I have not used it, so I can't advocate myself yet. Link to your Amazon, please. It should be in the description. I don't know, actually, if it is. And if it's not, I didn't know what I was doing when I first signed up for it, and it's a really long name, so it's like Amazon.com/shops/L1 Automotive Diagnostics and Programming LLC. All one word. Because I tried to use, you find out that you're really supposed to use your full business name on a lot of stuff, so that's why the channel name changed. Instead of having my name, I think it was, I don't know, some branding in there too. I'm trying to brand what I do as my stuff. That's what the logo down there is for, and the advertisement for Patreon, and the JBox class that I'm doing, and all that stuff. But anyways, oh, where'd the chat go? Sorry, I got my second laptop up to view the chat, because when I'm viewing my streaming software, I can't see the chat, and I want to not miss any of that. That's the whole reason why I do these live streams, to interact with you guys, let you guys know what's going on with the channel. Keith asks, Autel MaxiSys Elite plus J2534 or the IM600 from Aro? I think the Aro IM600, I've been told and I've heard both ways, but from the word of some few people I trust, almost all of the software that's in the Elite is what's on the Aro. I mean, they're sister companies. Autel is who's making the Aro. I'm not dancing around that. The Autel IM600 does supposedly everything that the Elite does. The Autel VCI is the Maxi Flash. Tommy Oliva has successfully flashed a Nissan with the IM600 VCI, but you also get all of the key programming and EEPROM stuff with the IM600 that the Elite does not come with. So I would think the IM600 would be your best bet. And again, I'd recommend AESWave for buying that. You get the best support that way. Let's see. There we go. The chat thing wasn't catching up. On X-Horse VVDI, how was the subscription for tokens on the year? Alright, so I heard there's token stuff on it, but I have not ran into a problem with that yet. So I've used it and it hasn't asked for tokens or anything. I don't know, but I've heard there are a token system on it. So maybe you get like so many free uses before that. So kind of would like a new one though. Bird, thanks, DR. Oh, okay. I figured out what you're talking about. Sorry, I was reading the comments. Man, it's 4:44, guys. I gotta go. I gotta head over to Patreon. We're gonna do the diagnostic methods and strategies class today, or just a portion of it. We're not really class. We're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna go over some of my methods and stuff. And then next week we'll be right back on the JBox class, doing some J2534 module programming, domestic and Asian class. We'll be on part 8. where we're going to talk about how do you know it needs a flash. So I misspoke in the last video, by the way. I said diagnostician, or I said I think technician level or higher. I was wrong. It's diagnostician level is the tier you have to get access to all the training videos. So I tried to make it more clear on the Patreon website. So if you guys want to join in that, head on over to patreon.com/Keith Perkins and join in. It is a paid subscription. Yes, I want to be paid for that, so I'm sorry. But I will continue doing as much as I can here. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me. And like, subscribe, comment. We'll see you next time. And I'm going to point as much as I can, because I do that when I don't know what to say. So, alright guys. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys later. Sorry, let me answer this question real quick. I pulled Nissan pins with the launch clone software installed on the Kindle Fire, and it works great. Cool, Marcos. I got it. Yeah. I didn't know if you saw the link where I got it installed over to show you how to do the launch software onto any tablet when you buy a Diagun. But all right, guys, have a good one. We'll see you next time. Thanks again.